Jose Lopez and his family run a popular Mexican restaurant in Gig Harbor, Washington. Jose and his 9 brothers and sisters came to the United States more than a decade ago to escape the poverty of central Mexico. They worked hard and turned their restaurant, El Pueblito, into a Gig Harbor hotspot. People come to El Pueblito for the excellent enchiladas and margaritas, but also for friendship. For many people in Gig Harbor, the Lopezes are like a second family. Jose's ties to Mexico remain strong. On vacations, he and his family often return to the little mountain town of Ayutla, southwest of Guadalajara, where he lived until he was 18. Ayutla lies in a beautiful mountain valley, but it's isolated, and there are few jobs for the 12,000 people who live there. 2 years ago, during a visit to Ayutla, Lopez witnessed an accident that affected him deeply. He and his wife were driving near the town when they came upon a crash on the highway.
I went out for the day. It was probably 4 or 5:30 in the afternoon, and I experienced a head-on collision with a taxi cab and a pickup truck, and there was nobody there to help them out yet. So I was the first one to arrive to the scene. I saw the horrible accident, and I loaded everybody up in a pickup truck. I took him to the town, including the mom and a 6-month-old baby. And as I arrived to the town, they didn't have any resources. They only had 1 ambulance for all 6 people involved in the accident. Somehow they put everybody, the rest of the people that were involved, tried to take him to Guadalajara to a nearest hospital. And I guess the baby died on the way there. And the lack of resources is what probably made him, died, some of those people. 4 of the 6 people passed away. And that hunted me down for years. And so I came up here and I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something good for the town.
Back at the restaurant, Jose told his friends about the accident. They included Phil Mickelson, a Seattle firefighter for 22 years.
What really struck me was when I was told that he had to put the patients, which later turned out to be victims, in the back of his pickup truck for transport to the local facility for treatment. And it struck something in me. It's just one of those things that it's not right, and something needed to be done about it.
Lopez told the story to another friend and customer, Ed Troyer. Troyer is a Pierce County Sheriff's Department detective and the executive director of the Tacoma-Pierce County Crime Stoppers organization.
When I first heard about the project and heard about the people that were in need down there, I couldn't believe it. It was the year 2007 and they didn't have that stuff. I mean, we're not talking about a third world country here. Basic life support, basic equipment. And so I got involved thinking, well, we can get these guys some vehicles. And as we started doing it, snowballed from there. So many people got involved. We managed to get so many vehicles. People got involved to help drive them down, donate money, throw events, raise money. Just turned into a huge mission to Mexico.
Through the Crime Stoppers organization and several fire and police departments in the Puget Sound area, Mickelson and Troyer were able to locate valuable surplus equipment. Troyer also found an ambulance that the Little Rock Fire Department was disposing of as surplus. The Thurston County firefighters donated the rig to the cause. And he managed to acquire a fire truck from the Sultan Fire Department in Snohomish County.
We didn't want to give them junk, and we wanted them to have stuff that looked nice and would last for years. So we got a lot of people involved in the reconditioning of the vehicles, and we brought stuff down there that was 7 to 10 years old, but with it all fixed up, it was the nicest stuff around. What we consider junk here, they consider great down there, and it's going to last them for a long time.
To raise money, the volunteers sold T-shirts for $15 apiece. On a bar coaster at El Pueblito, Mickelson and Jose sketched out the design. A fire truck with linked hands below it and a Mexican and American flag on either side. Jose and Troyer came up with designs for the markings on the police cars. And then they threw a big benefit party in the parking lot of El Pueblito. They used proceeds from the benefits and donations to put the vehicles in top shape and mark them with Mexican insignia. Getting the vehicles to Ayutla would mean a drive of nearly 3,000 miles. Again, Jose's friends came forward. The route would take them almost 3,000 miles, down the west coast through Washington, Oregon, and California, across desert to Tucson, Arizona, and then over the Mexican border at Nogales. From there, they planned to cut over to the coast, continue south of Guadalajara, and then on mountain roads to Ayutla. They planned to make the trip in 5 days, 2 days to the border, and then 3 more from the border to Ayutla. That meant they'd have to average 600 miles a day, which didn't sound too bad. On the way, they would pass through the resort city of Mazatlan, where they hoped to spend some time relaxing in the surf and sun. Now, if all went well, they'd make it to Ayutla on Wednesday, spend the night resting and cleaning up, then present the vehicles to the city on Thursday. The trip caught the attention of local news media.
Mexico until Jose Lopez decided to do something about it.
I just felt like I could have done something for them.
On Saturday morning, September 15th, the team of 12 volunteer drivers gathered at the restaurant and loaded their gear. In addition to Jose and Troyer, they included Dan Moore, a master mechanic who lived on a boat moored in a Gig Harbor marina, Jeff Anderson, Ron and Sandy Jarvis, Gonzalo Tello, Ed Hauge, Larry Gow and Don Swenson, Kathy and Craig Hoopy. Shortly after 10 o'clock, the caravan rolled out of Gig Harbor and headed south on Interstate 5, the Mexican insignia attracting curious looks. The caravan needed to be at Nogales in 2 days, so they could keep an appointment with an official from Ayutla on his way north to help with any problems that might come up getting the vehicles across the border. But heavy traffic in Portland put them behind schedule right away. Even when the roads were clear, they couldn't make good time. The ambulance had just been tuned up, but it wasn't running right, and its top speed was just 55 miles an hour. The ambulance crew, Dan, Jeff, and Gonzo, had to coax it up hills and constantly keep an eye on the temperature gauge. To make up time, they decided to keep driving through the night rather than stopping in a motel as they originally planned. After 24 straight hours of driving, they had made it through Oregon and the length of California. They passed through Los Angeles in mid-morning and headed east across the desert. Everybody was exhausted, but it seemed like a waste of time to stop. Chances were nobody would be able to sleep in the daytime anyway, and stopping would mean they'd miss their appointment at the border with the official from Ayutla. They kept going. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the weather changed.
Check that out. We got a funnel cloud or tornado forming. We're going to pull up here and see if it actually turns into something. We'll be able to get away. We got a police car that goes fast. We're doing our best to get out of the way of the storm. We got lightning, rainbows, and funnel clouds all in one place. It's pretty cool. But as you can see, we're rookies when it comes to driving around in the desert.
An hour out of Tucson, with everybody desperate for drinks and dinner, the ambulance suddenly got worse. The temperature gauge shot past H and stayed there. They finally limped into Tucson at 9:30 at night, exhausted after what turned out to be 35 straight hours of driving from Gig Harbor. Even with the marathon 1,200-mile drive they just completed, they still were not even halfway to Ayutla. The next morning, Moore, the mechanic, bought a new fan, thermostat, and fan clutch at a parts store, and with a set of emergency tools he had brought with him, tore into the ambulance in the hotel parking lot. After an hour of work, he pronounced the ambulance cured and ready to head for the border.
When we got to Nogales, we ran into some problems going through the border. I had no idea that we had to go. There's 2 ways to get into Mexico through Nogales. We skipped the one we were supposed to go into, so we went into Mexico, and we had to go back to the United States because we didn't finish some paperwork that we had to do. That was the release of the vehicles through some stations they have up here, and they take the license plates. And so after that, we went through the Las Mariposas. That was the exit we were supposed to enter to Mexico. We had all the paperwork, and once we got all the paperwork ready to go and all the missing papers that we had to do, we were on the way to Mexico, Ayutla, Jalisco. So we were really happy that everything turned out. Some trouble, but we were ready on our way to Ayutla.
But Ayutla was a long way ahead, and the ambulance still was not working right. And there was another deadline. The Ayutla official explained that the entire town had organized a festival in their honor on Thursday with a special celebration dinner, mariachi bands, and a ceremony. That gave them 3 days. 10 hours driving from the border, and they at last hit the Pacific Ocean, exhausted. Roughly 2,000 miles down and 1,000 still to go. After tacos and beer at a late-night taco place, they agree to treat themselves to a late start in the morning. 2 days of moderately hard driving should still put them at Ayutla in time for the festival planned in their honor. But the ambulance had other ideas. It still was overheating. Moore, the mechanic, said it needed a tune-up. In Guaymas, they spotted a Ford garage and pulled in for repairs.
Well, after we left Tucson, where we got the fan in and it stopped overheating, it was running, but not good. We knew we had to get it squared away, and I was pretty sure it just needed some spark plugs. And we were looking for a competent garage. Unfortunately, in Guaymas, we found a Ford garage, pulled in there. They took care of everything. It went great. Everything was fine after that. As far as driving it, it's like you're straight up and down. It's not comfortable, and the air conditioning quits going uphill because of the lack of vacuum to the system. So you die on the way up hills and cool off on the way down the hills. It was all right after that. We had a good time. We stuck a few beers in one day, got in trouble, but other than that, we were okay.
The tune-up would take several hours. After much discussion, the teams decided to split up. 2 of the police cars and the support van will go ahead to Culiacan with Jose. Troyer, Ed Hauge, Gonzo, Jeff, and Moore would wait out the repairs and try to catch up.
How's it running?
Perfect. Nice. Fast. Like a Maserati.
Jose and half the team spent the night in a hotel in Culiacan while the ambulance crew inched forward. The accommodations were first-rate, but no one was relaxed. They were afraid that by the time the ambulance crew got to Culiacan, they would be too exhausted to keep going. It appeared to be impossible to get to Ayutla in time. Near midnight, over tequila shots at a restaurant bar, they decided that when reunited with the ambulance crew that they would push forward in a last, whatever it took, 700-mile drive. The all-out assault would mean passing up a much-anticipated rest stop at the beach in Mazatlan, but it's a sacrifice that all agreed they were willing to make in order to get to the celebration on time. The ambulance guys showed up in Culiacan just before noon the following day, sweaty, exhausted, and full of stories.
Well, we did have some problems with the paramedic rig. It was something that would have been easily fixed at home. Fixing the rig was just small parts and a little bit of time, but to get it done took hours to get the parts, find places to do it, and move from town to town. One place, they were halfway through fixing the truck and it was siesta time, so everything shut down and they didn't work on it for the next couple hours, so we jumped in the back of a pickup truck and they hauled us off to a restaurant where we sat and ate and hurry up and waited for them to come back to work so they could finish the job so we can move on. Unfortunately, the very next morning it happened to us again, and this time the dealer wasn't open to get the part. So we had to camp out for a couple hours and wait for the dealer open to get the part. Once we got the part, we were able to get it fixed and get on the road and get right back caught up within the day.
Even though they were exhausted, the ambulance crew wanted to hit the road again. They took off about 2 p.m., determined to make it to Ayutla by midnight.
What is it, Wednesday?
I don't even know what day it is. Is it Wednesday?
Wednesday morning.
Keeping the caravan together in Culiacan's traffic proved nearly impossible. After several wrong turns, making it to Ayutla by midnight started sounding less and less likely. Still, the lure of Mazatlan was strong. A disagreement began. Some wanted to stop, others thought they should push on to Ayutla. Jose, nervous about being late, didn't want to stop. Sandy strongly agreed. Gonzo and several others did not. At an impasse, they decided to stop and put the matter to a vote. Those who wanted to stop in Mazatlan won, but they agreed only to stay for 1 hour. Guided by Gonzo, who it turns out used to be a Mazatlan bartender, they found a big hotel veranda right on the beach. The beers came out and then the food. 1 hour turned to 2 and then nearly 3.
I like this. I like this a lot.
The trip to Mazatlan, well worth it. Everyone's rested, everyone's got their second wind, and now we press on to Ayutla and big party for tomorrow.
The stop did wonders for morale, but down the road, exhaustion caught up with them. They hit bad roads. The headlights on the ambulance cut out. The plan to drive all night was clearly not going to work. They pull up in the city of Tepec, vowing to get an early start and pull into town in the mid-afternoon instead of the morning, bypassing Guadalajara and taking a back road shortcut to Ayutla.
I think this is the final leg. We're doing it a day later than we wanted to, but we're doing it early in the morning, and we should be arriving into Ayutla. We're guessing around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Not, we would have had to driven all night and been here probably 5 or 6 this morning and no sleep. So we chose this route and this method, and I think everybody will be a lot better in the next coming days with good sleep and safe driving.
At last, after 6 days and 3,000 miles, Ayutla came into view. The crew of volunteers steered the police cars and ambulance under the arch and rolled into town, tired but happy. Their mission to Mexico was over.
And to me, to donate those vehicles is very, very good because we had to buy vehicles for the police. And now we don't going to buy police because we have enough vehicles to the police. And the money we save to buy vehicles, I'm going to use that money to fix streets, help the schools, help our poor people, because you know the money is never enough. I donate my salary, but it's never enough the money.
What it started with in a coaster in a bar.
Yeah.
It turned into a good idea, project.
Great idea.
And now it's a reality for all these people. We're really, really happy. This is a new hometown for everybody at Gig Harbor that wants to come down and visit. And this is a new hometown for the vehicles that you guys were looking at around in Gig Harbor. Thanks to all the cops that were great with us also and didn't take him to jail.
The highlight was when we rolled into town. We all felt like Carol O'Connor and Kelly's Heroes rolling into town to find out how we got into town so easy with no resistance. And the band was playing, the school children were all dressed up in their best. And we got out of our cars and everybody wanted to shake our hands and just show us a good time. It was superb. It was really something. It was heartfelt.
I've been friends with Jose for a long time, and when he asked me about this, he had such passion. How could you say no? I've always felt that you have to do stuff like this in life. Otherwise, what did you do? Just watch TV? No, you have to make a difference.
We feel like we already here before because these people have a big heart, and everywhere we go, they thank us. And you say hi. For instance, this afternoon I was in the main square, and somebody came up and said, thank you so much for what you have done, and even buy me an ice cream. And that was a nice thing.
Reason for coming down was to help out, and for me it was a good experience seeing the new culture and how people live, and just stopping in all the towns and eating good food.
It was a wonderful experience. I'd do it again.
It's probably been one of the most unique experiences of my life. Some very surrealistic happenings I just never thought I would ever see. Being presented with a banner in the middle of a plaza in a city in Mexico, sitting with school children and listening to their stories and being, I don't know, being hailed as somewhat of a hero. I don't know, it's something I'm just not used to.
This is my third trip to Ayutla. And the reason I came on this trip is I love the town, I love the people, I love the Mexican culture. I want to give something back to the people who have given my wife and my family such a good time here. And be honest, there's more time for my family and I in this little town after I retire in a few years than I've spent in the past. We're looking forward to that.
We love the Lopez family and Jose, and we thought it would be a good time, and it has been, and we've just enjoyed it.
This has been the warmest welcome. We knew we were doing something to help a friend. We didn't know how much we were going to be helping Ayutla until we received the welcome that we did. So this has been a fabulous experience. A little scary at times. Meeting the Federales was interesting. Being one of the only 2 women was an experience in and of itself, but it was just fabulous. And the children, the culture, the food, it's just been an amazing experience and one we'll remember for the rest of our lives.
When we came into town, everybody in town was waiting for us. All the children's, moms, fathers, everyone was here. All the policemen. We had a very, very warm welcome. It was incredible. I couldn't hold my tears to come down. I was driving the police car, and it was just unbelievable to see everyone clapping, smiling, giving us this warm welcome. It was almost too much for me. I saw even my own father. I saw him, tears coming out of his eyes. Everybody was clapping. It was incredible.